Hello, this is going to be a very quick rotation guide for Affliction Warlock in the War Within. So, let's have a look at our set bonus. Malefic Rapture damage is increased and critical strike chance of it is increased. Malefic Rapture has a chance to increase damage dealt by your Agony, Corruption and Unstable Affliction, which are our dots or damage over time spells. So it's all focusing around Malefic Rapture usage. Now, if you don't know Affliction Warlock, again, it is pretty much all based around dots and damage over times. We're starting off with the Mythic Plus rotation here, which is very AoE based. We're going to start off with Seed of Corruption as our #1 priority, which will embed a seed in the target, as you can see, and after a few seconds that is going to detonate, doing loads of damage. At #2 on the priority, we use Vile Taint, unleashing a vile explosion at the target location, dealing shadow damage over 10 seconds, and applying Agony and Curse of Exhaustion to them, so adding some dots to our enemies. Then we're going to use Haunt, which is going to increase the target we deal to our damage and also do damage. The same with Unstable Affliction. It's another dot that we're going to put on them. We're then going to put Soul Rot on there. Wither away all life force of your current target and up to 4 nearby targets, causing your primary target to suffer shadow damage and other targets to suffer damage as well. After that, we're going to use our Summon Dark Glare. This is on a 2-minute cooldown, and you should be using it every 2 minutes. It's going to do more damage for the more dots you have up. So you are going to want to get all of your dots up on your target before you summon your Dark Glare. You may or may not also be aware that we use Soul Shards here as a Affliction Warlock. Well, these Soul Shards here, our main spender is going to be Malefic Rapture. Your damaging periodic effects from your spells erupt on the targets, causing Shadow Flame damage per effect. So again, you want to make sure you've got all of your dots up already before spending those Soul Shards on Malefic Rapture. And that is the spell that our rotation is formed around with this season's set bonus. In Mythic Plus, you are going to be going with Hellcaller. I'm only going to tell you the two kind of keystone talents here, which is Wither and Malevolence. So Wither bestows a vile malediction upon the target, burning the sinew and muscle of its host, dealing Shadow Flame damage immediately, an additional amount over time, and it replaces your corruption spell. But don't forget that Seed of Corruption does actually put Wither onto the target for you. So you're not actually having to really worry about it there. And then we get Malevolence on a 1-minute cooldown. Dark magic erupts from you and corrupts your soul for 20 seconds, causing enemies suffering from your Wither to take damage and increase its stat count by 6. While corrupted, your haste is increased by 8, and spending soul shards on damaging spells grants an additional stack of Wither as well. And you can see I can use that there on the target. And that is pretty much the Mythic Plus rotation. It is fairly straightforward. And Hellcaller doesn't change the rotation really too much at all. Now we're going to move on to the Raid rotation, which we are, by the way, going to be changing the hero talents for. If we go into the Raid talent tree, we go with Soul Harvester, you can see there is a few talents that are changing over here. Again, not changing the rotation too much, we're just doing stuff a bit more manually because this is single target based. First things first, put Haunt up on your target because it's going to increase the damage we do to them, and then get up all of your dots. So Unstable Affliction, Agony, and Corruption. One thing to note is that you want to refresh Agony before it falls off, because it does more and more damage the longer it's on a target, and you can refresh it. You can see here it's got 15 stacks and it's nearly falling off, but when I refresh it, the stacks stay the same and keep going up. It doesn't start again from 1. Corruption never falls off, you just put it on once. Your Shadow Bolt is replaced with Drain Soul, and we're going to use this here whenever it procs. And at this point in the rotation, once our dots are up. After that, use Phantom Singularity and then Soul Rot. And again, once all your dots are up, you're going to use Summon Dark Glare. Then, to spend our Soul Shards, it's still going to be Malefic Rapture, of course, because that is what is basing around the set bonus this season. And that pretty much is the rotation for raiding. Now, a few quick talents I do want to talk you through. Cunning Cruelty, Shadow Bolt, and in this case, Drain Soul, have a chance to trigger a Shadow Bolt volley, dealing damage to everyone nearby. We have Tormented Crescendo. While Agony, Corruption, and Unstable Affliction are active, your Drain Soul has a chance to make your next Malefic Rapture cost no Soul Shards and cast immediately. If you ever see this spell here light up, that is what's doing it, and you should use it immediately to actually spend that proc. Do, of course, make sure you have all of your dots up still when you do that. That is what is really, really important here, because we're doing more damage for the more dots we have. We also then have Volatile Agony, Refreshing Agony, with 10 or seconds left remaining, will actually deal more shadow damage to its target and enemies within 10 yards as well. And then again, we've got Shadow Embrace, where your Drained Soul applies Shadow Embrace, increasing your damage dealt to the target, and that can stack up to 4 times. So you see, when I use my Drained Soul, I get Shadow Embrace, increasing damage taken from me by 8%. You want to also keep that debuff up on the target as well by using your Drain Soul on them. And that is the complete rotation. Let's just quickly look at what is happening with the Keystone talents in Soul Harvester. Demonic Soul. A demonic entity now inhabits your soul, allowing you to detect if a soul shard has a succulent soul, and that succulent soul is going to empower your next Malefic Rapture, increasing its damage. And then down here, your Soul Rot spell is empowered with your demonic entity within you, causing it to grant 3 soul shards that each contain a succulent soul. So we're basically to be passively doing more damage through succulent soul shards as we are doing the rotation. Now, this was obviously a very quick guide. If you would like a much longer, a much more detailed and in-depth guide, check out the pinned comment and the description. On my other channel, I am actually doing full in-depth guides for the specs to make sure that there's something for everyone with a quick guide and also a full in-depth one. If you would like to support the channel, then please do consider joining my Patreon, where I'm putting a full list of macros for all specs in the War Within, and you can get my LVI profiles that aren't seen here. And if you want to see other quick guides for specs, whether it be PvE or PvP in the War Within, then click this playlist just up here.